Welcome back to another episode of the Red Pill Cartel. Very special guest today. Me and this guy go way back. I
Way
think
back then.
probably to like grade six or something like that. Uh,
Grade six. Yeah.
yeah, man. And we haven't spoken in a long time. I just randomly searched up your name one day. You popped into my head, and I found you, and I was like, holy shit! Fucking business coach slash motivational speaker, Mr.
Yeah.
Kunal Chakravorty. How are you, brother?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And the funny thing is you and I have been connected on Facebook for time, you know?
Yeah, but I got
So
off Facebook around 2012 or so.
yeah, and I
Just
boycott
because,
Facebook a lot because
yeah,
I don't want that
I
life,
just find I find Instagram a little better and I find
Yeah.
Facebook a little bit too intrusive. So I kind
Mm,
of use this to kind of, promote the podcast and connect with other like-minded people. Whereas Facebook, it's like, I don't even want my family knowing all of my business or all my friends knowing all my business. You know
yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm saying?
100%.
So, yeah,
I
so
mean, I only use
that's,
Facebook to really stay in touch with like family from like abroad or Messenger, really,
yeah,
Messenger. But I mean, like, and even Messenger is like either for like marketplace stuff or if I'm talking to my kids, if I'm talking
sure.
to my kids. Otherwise, that's really all I use
Like Facebook
Facebook for.
Messenger and stuff like that.
No, because Facebook, it's like you get into it and it's like next thing you know, you're going down this rabbit hole and hours have passed and you're just looking at garbage.
It's kind of like looking at porn.
I mean, I would pick porn over Facebook.
Face Hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So tell me how you got started and what you're doing now, man, because it's been a long time. We haven't really talked in a long time. So, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
like
found your
this.
post very inspirational and it's
Thank
kind
you,
of
man.
similar to what I do. Like I kind of post random like text blurbs
Yeah.
and kind of try to like help people and motivate them and keep them on their toes and shit, right? So I found your post very very
Thank you,
inspiring.
man. I appreciate it. I just reality checks really at the end of the day, right? I mean, like for me,
Right.
it's I'll tell you, I mean, like a quick um, kind of like a Cole's Notes version of like, kind of where that mindset came from. So there's this philosophy that I have. It's called the Beast Mindset philosophy, right? I mean, it's really about my tagline is don't talk about it, be about it. Because so many people, it becomes like this shoulda, coulda, woulda mentality. Oh, I wish I
Hmm.
did this. I wish I did this, and then it's just excuses about why people didn't do something. And the thing is, what I've realized and what I also incorporate in my a lot of my coaching or the things I say is that it's not about the end goal, right? It's about success that happens in the process. Like when I wanted to learn to play the guitar, my goal wasn't I want to be a guitar superstar. The goal was I want to learn to play the guitar,
Hmm.
right? So I took guitar lessons for 2 years. I can play the guitar, but it's not like I mean, and I'm good enough to be, a professional
Like Eddie Van
guitarist.
Halen or something.
No, but I achieved my goal, right? You got to at least try. And a lot of the times, I find that people when they have a goal, and but then they kind of psych themselves out, and they have like this the what if mindset. The what if
Hmm.
mindset is, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? Why even try? And then they get anxiety, and they're like, I won't even try,
Yep.
right? And then it
It's
goes
like
into
fear
what
of
if, coulda, woulda.
success and failure. It fucks you up.
Exactly. I mean, and as
Like there's so many people that I know that, I have a coworker and he's like, dude, look what I just bought. And he showed me like a brand new drum set. And I'm like, holy shit, that must have ran you a pretty good penny. He's like, I don't even want to tell you, but he's been playing drums since he was 12 and he's like 24 or 25 now.
yeah,
And I saw his post and I saw him going from like, dude, to fucking like, he was getting better
yeah,
and better and better. So he upgraded his drum set that he had since he was
that's
12, right?
amazing.
I'm like,
Yeah, and
he said, man, I said, it's never fucking too late to just do something, you know?
it isn't, man. It really isn't too late. So my whole thing came from the fact that I've always kind of, if I put my mind to something, I tend to kind of like follow through with it, or at least
Mhm.
try, right? If it doesn't
Right.
work out, at least I tried, right? I can't,
Exactly.
I can't there's no excuses why I didn't do something. So, when I was about 30 years old, I had like major life-saving surgery, and I woke up from the surgery thinking I was gonna be a goner. So
Wow.
quick thing, I had this thing called intussusception. It's one of like a rare case in Canadian history and medical history where they normally catch it in newborns, but in adults, so it's just rare. And where basically my intestine started digesting itself.
Oh
Okay,
shit.
yeah. So I had like a foot of my intestines cut out, and it changed my life. So like before the surgery, I remember after a day being in emergency and triage and them not figuring out what it was, they just saw. I remember it was like the last ultrasound, and I'm being wheeled back into triage, and the head of surgery, Toronto General, comes running over, and he's like, "If we don't get you into surgery in the next 2 hours, you're not gonna make it." Right? And I'm like, okay, right? So he's like, you got to say bye to your folks. So my parents, I remember my ex-wife and my parents were on the other side of the door, very like this movie, right? It's like you're looking through the glass, and I'm like, holy crap, I got to tell my parents, like, and my family, like, goodbye, you know?
Oh
So
man.
and he tells me, the doctor says that how they just see a dark shadow that's growing in my stomach, and they have no idea what it is. So they weren't even going to fix, they were going to explore, right? So he's like, I've called out like 8 other surgeons from other surgeries. We got to get you in the surgery in the next 2 hours. So when I went into the operating room, and I'm on the table and they're putting the gas, and I'm thinking in my mind, all right, yo, this is it. This is it. Like I've had a good life.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it.
At
Yeah, I can't have
30.
kids. I'm 30, right? I'm like, man, I really want
That's
to have kids. I
fucked.
really want to be a dad and all this stuff. But I'm like, man, okay, if this is it, this is it. So I go down, I go under, and imagine, in like the movies when it's like your eyes are closed and you start hearing beeps. That's exactly what it was. I was in ICU.
Right.
It's like 4:20 in the morning. Great number, by the way. I wake up 4:20, then I hear the beeps. I wake up, I open my eyes. I'm like, my first thought, okay? First thought was, holy shit, bro, you're alive, right? And I had like catheters and I had all this bandaging, and I just saw this like gauze and stuff all over my stomach. And then I recovered in the hospital for a while, and it changed my life. But I made, when I was in the hospital, I made a bucket list. So a lot of people wait till like they're in their 40s, 50s to make a bucket list, right? But a lot
Mm.
of the things in your bucket list you're not going to achieve because it's just not a priority, or you're just not physically able to do it. You know what I mean?
And you're not thinking that you're gonna fucking die anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So it
Exactly.
doesn't motivate you really, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like I made this bucket list. That list, which was the top 10, now is like a top 50 from like different things that I've added to that list, from being a martial arts sensei. I teach martial arts now, to just there were so many things. Having twins, just some things that were just very, very far-fetched, and I do. I have 9-year-old twin boys. Um,
It's funny how that worked out, eh? I
yeah,
want
I know. Just
twins.
yeah,
Boom, there you go.
I made that happen. I planned for it. I manipulated the situation to make that happen. And no, I mean, like, just with from business goals to whatever it was, right? And so um, I just I've always kind of been very all about community and helping people. I live a very purposeful life. So when I say purposeful, everything I do, if I'm going interviewing for a job, if I'm getting a client, or there has to be a like a connection, like a soul connection, where even with my martial arts students, I interview my students. Like if somebody they're all private classes. If it has to be a referral, and if somebody's being recommended, I interview them not only for me to see if they're the right fit for me, it's for them to see if I'm the right fit for them.
Sure.
Because that journey is a very spiritual journey between martial arts, like sensei and student, as I have a very deep connection with my sensei as well. And so part of that was just really, starting on social media, just putting out content that was, kind of, it's never about, oh, I'm aiming to have like a million followers or something like that. It was really
Right,
just
right.
about being like a good figure and a good positive role model. A legacy means everything to me, and I'm gonna do a TED Talk actually next year.
Oh
So
no shit.
I'll let you know. And it's gonna be on legacy. It's gonna be a top topic on legacy. So it's not 100% confirmed as far as the date is concerned, but we're working on it, and
That's awesome.
it's gonna be dope. And I'm writing a book right now. There's a lot going on. I've gone through a lot of stuff in life. I mean, like I can't. We need lots of time to kind of get into everything, but um, it's really just that mentality, that beast mindset mentality. Like you can have a positive mindset, like the biggest difference between someone with a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, so a growth mindset, someone with a growth mindset, oh sorry, with a fixed mindset thinks life happens to me. So it's
Okay.
like victim mentality, right? It's like very
Right,
cool
right.
stuff where you
That's a
don't.
lot of people.
Most people, right?
A lot
And
of
when it's not
people. And I'm
victim
like,
mentality,
yeah,
they're
I'm looking around right now. There's nobody here, but I know people that
yeah,
are constantly victims. Yeah.
victims of some at some level, right? And then there's the growth mentality is I create my own life.
Hmm.
So you don't have to be the richest, you don't have to be the wealthiest, you don't have to have the biggest house, but you feel like satisfied, like your
A sense
soul
of fulfillment. There's
fulfillment,
the
yeah,
void has been filled.
yeah, or is being continuously filled because I'll tell you something, life is really short, man.
Yeah.
I had a that was at 30. I've had multiple challenges my whole life, from medical challenges to just things that have, kind of like were meant to deter me off my path. But there's a saying, and I'm sure you know it, and a lot of people think it's a saying from the Bible, but it's not. It says, God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers, right? A lot of people are like, oh, it's from the Bible. It's not from the Bible. Not from the Bible. But it's a very true sentiment that, I find that the more you give and do for others, the harder struggles you have in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
then it kind of separates the people who are the wannabes from the people who are truly, um, I guess, doers and givers. Right? For me, I've been running a community mentorship program in Toronto and marginalized communities for like 20 years now. I was a big brother. There's a lot of stuff that I like doing, and I remember people asking me, "Oh, why do you do it? Do you do it for like, oh, for your resume, or do they pay you?" And I'm like, "No, I do it because um my whole purpose is if we can make the world last a little longer for our kids, because when we're no more, I mean, I would like my kids to be able to enjoy life a little bit more until, we don't live in a war-torn country. We are blessed.
Right.
We are blessed. But that's kind of where the mindset comes from. And so I focus very much on that on Instagram and on TikTok. It's really about just if I learn something, I'm all about personal development and just constantly learning and being a better version of myself. If I find something of value, I want to share it. That's what I do.
For sure. And that's the thing too, man. Like you don't really have anything to give if you're not, you know, focusing on certain things. Like if you learn, the more that you learn, the more you can give back, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be constantly ever learning, right? It can never be where it's like, oh, I know everything. It just never happens that way,
Right, right. And that's I think that's the point of this realm that we're living in, is to constantly try to grow. Because if you're not, you're just going to be stagnant. What are you going to do? Like, you're just going to sit on your ass and jerk off all day, right?
We're all trying to get out of the matrix. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What are
I
your
mean,
thoughts on like uh, all the shit that's going on today? Like, for example, I last night I was on Instagram Live and I got kicked off just for saying the word fag. And
yeah,
they even gave me an instant replay. It showed me the video of me saying it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And even on playing Call of Duty, like I can't
yeah,
say certain words and I'll get chat banned for 14 days. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's AI picking up my voice, right? It's not some guy sitting there constantly monitoring me. It's
no,
AI
of course it's
that's
AI. But I mean,
being
like,
integrated, right?
I mean, that's technology, right?
Yeah. But today I wake up and I see a Six Buzz post about the creator of
Yeah,
Telegram gets
yeah,
arrested in France
yeah,
because he would not censor his platform. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh dear Lord, what a shame. Shame on him for not censoring people.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
like,
I could
I mean, if you,
understand because I know there's a lot of criminal activity that goes on in Telegram. That should be fucking put a stop to, but just for people sharing their own ideals and thoughts that should be discussed, why is that being censored?
I know, but you have to remember it's like my view on this is we go to extremes every time. It's either like everything or nothing, you know?
Yeah,
Like I love everybody and I have no problems with anybody or any way that people want to live their life. If that's what they want, that's what
that's
they
how
want.
I feel too,
That's
man.
okay, man. Love and peace and love, man. Peace and love, right? But being forced to, with things being pushed on you or things that are just, like this whole, remember, look at WhatsApp, okay? In Dubai, WhatsApp, the UAE government has banned WhatsApp calls. You can't make calls and video calls, okay? Because of the encryption and all that kind of stuff. And WhatsApp said it goes through their servers and they don't want to release that stuff. So, but they'll release the messaging. So you're
Like
allowed
the
to message.
texting.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
text. They release that information. Now there are ways of getting around this thing. Very easy. You use a VPN. Use a
Right.
VPN, and you're on WhatsApp video. But the country has laid down, this is our restriction. So going after like the CEO and founder of Telegram, he's not the criminal.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He's not the guy that you're trying to stop. But I think it's like more like they're trying to make an example out of him, right?
Yeah.
And look, man, I'll tell you something. As
Who's
a
next?
founder,
Elon?
yeah. Listen, as a
You
founder,
know?
I've been an entrepreneur and a founder of companies for a few companies. And one thing when I talk to people, what do they want? They want a visionary. They want somebody who thinks outside the box, who's borderline a little like crazy.
Sure.
Like there are things that I come up with or ideas that I come up with are my focus. And people that I know tell me all the time that, oh, I would never do that because that there's a high rate of failure. The chances of you failing. Now I said yes, there's a chances of me failing, but also there are chances of me really succeeding.
Sure.
Right. And I have this goal and this vision. And that's what this guy had of Telegram. Like, I mean, his goal wasn't to be like, I want to be, listen, there are other apps that people that are, doing shady business use outside of Telegram
Yeah.
that are like highly encrypted and whatever. And um, Telegram just seems to be the most popular. Like Signal used to be like that too,
Right. Right.
right? And so yeah, I mean, look, is it gonna stick? Is he gonna go to jail? He's not gonna go to jail. This is just they're making an example of him. He's gonna have to pay some heavy fines, and he's gonna have to give up some information. He's just gonna have to like change his terms and conditions of his app. But like Elon Musk, look what he did to X. I mean, Twitter
Mhm.
ruined the
Mhm.
company, ruined it. But he's a billionaire and he can do whatever the heck he wants. And he's a
Right.
visionary. And he, like a lot of his views, like, look, this Elon Musk believes that um, mankind is doomed and it's his job to like procreate. That's why he has like 13 kids, right? To
Right. Right.
procreate so
And
that
take
he
him to
can
Mars.
take on Mars and
Yeah.
create a new community. It's like all of these things. But do you think people are like, oh my God, I'm not gonna buy a Tesla? No, it's like Apple. People are just addicted to the garbage.
Right.
So it's I keep myself educated and up to date with this information, but I really tend to just sit back and just wait and see how this kind of plays out. I'm interested to know
Same
what
here.
happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Same here. Because I don't panic over anything. I don't worry. I don't stress. But I like watching this shit and laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, another fucking bullshit article or something. It's like it's something new every day. And us podcasters in the community there's never a shortage of anything to talk about, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We're always
100%.
watching what's going on and we're very aware of what's going on. Is there anything that we can do about it? That's one of the things that a lot of people try to discuss. Like, there's people out there. I don't know if you're familiar with Owen Benjamin, but they took his farm, and he's a big public speaker. He's got like tons of followers on X, and I don't agree with a lot of his fucking viewpoints because there's a lot of shit that he says that it's like totally racist and shit. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fucked up. But like him being an example of what's going on. Like they got his farm, so he fucking moved off the land somewhere else, and he's trying to make it seem like if you're not doing the same thing, then you're a fucking idiot, right?
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, there's going to be an economic collapse, and that's what a lot of people are saying. But if a lot of people have been saying that for fucking decades,
Yeah.
right? So like buy gold, buy silver. Like, what's that going to do if the economy collapses, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You know what
but
I'm
then
saying?
like
Like,
it's like when people say those things, you know, what people say also influence what happens, right? So if you think about, look at the media.
it's like a manifestation thing.
Yes, but it's like man, but more than that, it's like if I'm let's say a financial investor or an advisor, and I'm giving the recommendation based on what my team and my company that I work for wants me to push, right? It's all connected, right? So, and then I say, oh, buy this, buy this. I'm telling a client, a customer who to invest in something that I want him to invest in. That guy's going to go tell somebody else, going to go tell somebody else, and so on. It's going to keep moving,
Right.
right? So when there are these changes in the economy, it's yes, sure, it's inflation, sure, it's like the pandemic and all the craziness that happened after that. With people that I know who just they were living fine and now they're finding it really hard to like survive, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Dude, like the like groceries, man. Like it's fucking insane. Fuel, it's insane. Everything's
oh
insane. How do you
and it's
st- how
crazy.
do you stay happy in an insane world? And I
I
think
used to
that's what you kind of focus on, right?
very much so, very much so. How do you stay not even happy? It's not about for me, it's not so much happy. How do you stay like level-headed? How do you stay like, current and like in check and aware? Because like as a martial artist, a big part of my lessons to my students and for my own lessons is less about this. It's more about understanding like life and strategizing. Like if you look at war, right? The war is won. It's fought on the field, right? It's won in like strategy rooms,
Right.
right? Oh, we're gonna drop this bomb. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that, and that's what
We're
happens.
gonna put this many troops on this line. We're gonna put that many troops on that line.
Straight
We're
up,
gonna flank them from there, here, whatever, right?
it's the strategy. The soldiers just kind of like implement, and the
Right.
same thing with life. I mean, like so one of the things that has been huge for me is just kind of self-awareness. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. If you think about it, like perfect example I use is the guy who left his house and was walking down the street to go to the store to get milk gets hit by a car or a bus, a lot out of control bus. Do you think he was expecting to die that day?
Right.
No, he was expecting to go get milk and go home. He wasn't
Yeah.
expecting to die that day, right? But I mean, I also do believe that everything kind of happens for a reason. That's why you have to be aware of your surroundings. You need to know. Don't be oblivious and be on your devices all the time and or just completely like I remember this dude, I went to pick up my kids a few days ago and he was on his phone crossing the street and I had the window down and I said, "Bro, pay attention." Right? Because I had the right of way and he just crossed. He turns
Right.
around and tells me to go fuck myself. And I'm like, all right. I mean, like, all right.
Well, I
Like, what am I
could have
supposed to
ran
do?
you over. Would you prefer that?
Yeah, like it was like he owned the road, or for some reason that everyone is they either think that they're in the rush and everyone is in a rush and needs to be somewhere all the time. They
Yeah.
own the road. They have it's like entitlement, it's constant flow of entitlement, right?
Hmm.
People need to just chill the fuck out, bro. Like
Yeah, man.
chill out.
I agree.
And that's right. Even in my last post, I talked about just sometimes, not reacting. Really, it's about not reacting and not living in misery and sorrow, where somebody says something about you and your first instinct is to react to it in a very emotional, wait, what is that doing? That's only affecting you. It's not affecting anybody else. It's not affecting the good person who said it. You're stressed out now. You're feeling anxiety. You're just not feeling good anymore. It's only bothering you. Like, chill the fuck out. Sometimes it's good. Just chill, sit back, and just observe, And so a lot of the advice or the things I say is not so much about like I'm a motivational speaker and I'm here to like, make you feel like $1 million all the time. I'm
Right.
here to talk to you about like real shit. Life is tough. It's not easy. You just in this non-easy life, how to best kind of go about keeping your mind strong. That's what
Sure.
it's important
I've
because
always
it's
felt that way myself because my dad, he worries about every little thing. And growing up, I observed that and I thought, I don't want to do that, you know? So I kind of like had my own ways of learning to not escape these things, but learn how to handle them with a better mindset, like a better
yeah,
approach them better and be like, okay, my dad got through it all. He's still worrying, but he could have approached it better. He could have been like, okay, this is stressful, but I'm going to take a step back and think about it instead of
yeah,
overly emotionally reacting to them and having your first thought be like, I'm fucked, you know?
they think of the
Because
worst
that's
case
what
scenario.
everybody's initial thought is like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? Oh my god. And you
Yeah, yeah,
you build up this
because it's panic,
huge
right? It's panic.
fear panic thing, and you're in panic fight or flight mode, and you don't know what to do, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna fucking, I guess this is life. This is what life does to me, like you said,
Yeah,
it's
it's like this
growth
fixed mindset. And
or
and look,
yeah.
everybody has these moments, okay? Don't get me wrong. Like when I say growth
Absolutely, I
mindset,
do too.
I'm talking about like, everyone you have the right to have pity parties sometimes. Because sometimes life throws some curveballs that are just like
Like,
why?
dude, you want to hear what my day was like, you know,
Yeah, like some
that kind of
crazy
thing.
shit. Yeah, exactly. Or like just like life in general. Like people go through shit. Things that are meant to destroy you and you fight through it and you get through it and you're still standing and you're sitting and you're happy and you're smiling and you're in a good relationship and you have good people around you and there's always change in life where perfect example is I had an accident in August 2022. I can't get fully into the details right now, but I had this really bad accident. It was a car accident and I almost died. Okay, I lost half my finger. It got
Oh,
like
wow.
reattached. Half the finger was gone. They reattached it. They're gonna straighten it up and put like some carbon uh composite pieces in there to kind of straighten it out.
And
But
whoever's listening to the audio, watch the YouTube version of this and see how fucked up his figure looks.
yeah, it's crazy. And then I had some other injuries, and it took me a long time to get through it. I suffered a lot of PTSD because of it, because of this
Sure.
accident. I had, I've been going to therapy and but I've been working through all these things. And it's like a lot of people don't talk about these things also, right? Because if you think of social media, either it's like you see just constant just death and misery,
Mhm.
but most people, when they share, they're just sharing positive stuff about their life
Sure.
or like kind of the struggles, sure, but they never really get into like the nitty gritty,
That's
and
that's a very that can also cause a lot of depression in people when they see a lot of positive stuff from people's lives. And when I talk to people who get depressed over that shit, I'm like, dude, they're not sharing all the shit that goes behind closed doors, man. Like that guy could be fucking assaulting his wife right now, but he looks all chippy and happy on
yeah,
the
it's because
outside, right?
even bad relationships have good times,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like my ex-wife and I, we were together for like 17 years. We were so close. I was 19 when I met her. Um, we now there's nothing but love and respect for her. She's a great mom, and it's about raising our kids together, right? We
Hmm.
are co-parent champs, or we try to be. And do we have, kind of like stressful times? Sometimes, of course, we do, um, like any parent would. But um, I always kind of like had that respect for her, where it was about, focused on the kids and not letting our struggles kind of like get the better of us, where we decided that,
Sure.
you know what, it's time to maybe part ways, because, you're a different person when you're 19 or 25 than you are when you're 35,
Absolutely.
right? And you kind of grow up into different people. And, we want to be parents together, but we're making it work. And I don't think I ever when people found out, they were shocked, because normally when you're out and about, you keep things a little bit more high level with your
Absolutely.
with your partying, because you're
Yeah.
in party mode. You're not in like, why am I going to tell people and depress them during a party, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then you're
Yeah.
not seeing these people. Like, sure, your close friends might know, but um, it, we really, like, to your point, we really don't know what people are truly going through. And I feel
Mhm.
that sometimes sharing the truth, which is really difficult as well, because you have to show a lot of vulnerability to be able to do that, right? I have to be secure enough in what I'm saying to, and in myself, to be like, there might be backlash. I might hear people like negative responses to what I want to share, and I have to be okay with that. I have to be okay with the fact that everyone has a right to their own opinion, and they have their own limited view of and understanding. Not everyone is
Right.
going to get it. Not everyone's going to be able to process it, and that's okay. I get hate comments all the time. I'll post something. I'll post something on somebody else's post, and I'll get a bunch of great comments, but I'll get hate comments. It's okay. But it's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
sharing. It's about sharing and just being real, man.
That's it, man. Just be yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to do that these days, I don't think. I mean, I I'm very vocal about my opinions and I don't give a shit about the backlash because I'm just like, that's just the way I view things, right?
Yeah.
So if I get hate, whatever, like I had some guy hop into my DMs last night, and he starts like kind of harassing me, and I'm like, bro, it's all good, man. It's just my opinion. You don't have like it's all good. I respect you for your opinion and this and that. And then we were actually becoming buddy buddy, It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I like that. And at least he was open-minded enough to kind of understand what you were saying, right? A lot
Mhm.
of people, they are very one-track minded, and they're very
What
fixed in on what they want to talk about, and nothing you say is right. They have
right.
to win.
And especially if you just drop a comment on a post, it's a one line comment and people are like, oh, they get fucking so mad about it. And that's why this
Yeah,
guy dropped in my DMs and I was like, look, and then we discussed a little bit and we were cool.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean,
My
like that's
my comment was rap is not an art form. Pick up a guitar and learn how to fucking play. And he got pissed off. He was like, rap isn't art, blah blah. I'm like, dude, it's just fucking me trying to fucking, you know, stoke poke the bear kind of thing, right?
yeah, yeah, 100%. And unfortunately, sometimes I feel that, like, I'll give you an example. I'm sure you heard about, because it was all over social media and everywhere, about these Ambanis, who are this one of the world's richest families. They're based out of India, and the
Right.
son got married. Mukesh Ambani's son got married, and he had all
Yes.
these celebrities at the wedding, and they
I
spent
work with a
almost a
lot of
billion dollars, right?
Indian guys and they showed me all that. And I was like, oh
Right? They spent
wow, that's
almost $1 billion
crazy.
on the wedding, right? And I
Right.
posted on one of the main, like, Bollywood, like, Instagram pages. I posted a comment about, and I did that a few, and I posted a comment, said, "Wow, that's beautiful, but maybe instead of spending $800 million on a wedding, you can, like, use that money to feed the poor and actually deal with um, hunger issues, actual hunger
Sure.
issues, right?"
Yeah.
So lots of people liked it, in the thousands. Lots of people liked it, but then I had a bunch of, and people had comments, and they were like, "Yeah, I agree." Like this, it's just extra. Just because you have billions of dollars doesn't mean that you need to do that, right?
Mhm.
And I had people for the sake of like basically trolls, right? For the sake of saying something, it was like they were saying things to me that were just like, mean. Like yeah, I'm not saying anything about them. It's just that they got so offended by the fact that
But
anybody
hurt.
has an opinion. And
Yeah.
I wasn't being rude. I wasn't being rude about it, you know? But I also realized that as much as you want to share, you also have to censor yourself a little bit. There has to be a
Oh, for
certain amount of
sure.
filter,
Yeah.
you know? There has to be a certain amount of filter. I'm sure there's things that, you want to say, but you won't
Oh,
say.
dude, no, no, no. Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with censorship, but I do agree with, like you said, a little bit of censorship. You should have like at least a mild filter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's more about your own self-respect, right? And like how
Yeah,
it
and you
can
don't you
like
don't want to like
affect your like if you have kids and stuff like that, you don't want to put somebody else in the situation, right?
sure, yeah. Like I had a coworker talk to me today about the whole Telegram thing, and he said, "How much of free speech do you feel is necessary?" I said, well, I don't think that you should be harassing people or, like hate speech. There's a very fine line about what hate speech is and what it's not. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
hate speech could be an opinion could be considered hate speech now. Bless you.
Yeah.
And it's like I that I don't agree with. But in terms of like death threats or shit like that, that I don't agree with. Like that's fucked up. You know, your
Yeah.
intentions, your opinions should not be your intentions. I think they're just
Yeah.
opinions because you're
Yeah.
not going to necessarily act out on your opinions. But
Yeah.
if hate speech involves, death threats and shit, there's a tendency that people could act out on that. And so I think maybe
Yeah.
that could be censored, but I really do feel like we're living in the age of them completely censoring free speech, and I don't fucking like it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that
Like
maybe it has a
if
lot to
it's
do with
my
it.
opinion, like if like for me, for example, getting kicked off of Instagram for saying fag, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean I hate gay people. I have gay friends. I have
Yeah.
transsexual friends. I have uh gender fluid friends,
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna call you a fag, it means because you're a fucking asshole. Just like South Park, right? Oh, you're gay, dude. That means you're a fucking asshole. Doesn't mean I hate gay people. So
Yeah.
there's got to be
100%.
some kind of fucking filter that AI has to use in order for us to realize what our intent is. And the fact that AI it's not human, it doesn't have emotions, it should not be able to just kick us off a fucking platform because we said a single word with no intent to what they see it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, I get you. I get you. And like
You
I'll give you
understand
a
what I'm
perfect
saying, you
example.
fucking fag?
Yeah,
That's what
no,
I'm
it's
saying though, right?
crazy.
Because like as humans, we can talk to each other and we can tell who we can and who we shouldn't be saying certain words to. But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I fucking hate you because I use that word, right?
Yes, but you know what? That word uh, is no longer politically correct, right? Like
Well,
a British person
that
can
was
say
the
fag
beginning.
because fag also means cigarette.
British cigarette.
Yes.
And that's funny because on Call of Duty, when I say the word fag, my buddy corrects me all the time. He's like, "Oh, you mean British cigarette?" I'm like, "No, I mean
Yeah.
fag."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
You know
and
what
you
I
know what?
mean? Though it's like the absurdity of it is the fact that we are no longer able to fucking speak freely as a human being, and that
Yeah,
I believe is infringing upon our human rights.
I agree, but also I think there are certain words where, see, the word itself is not a bad word, okay? But people have made it a bad word.
Sure,
So because they've made it a bad word, right? Like for example, my favorite word, fuck. I love the word fuck,
sure.
right?
Mine is
But people have
cunt.
made it a bad word. Yeah. Yeah. See you next Tuesday, bro. See you next Tuesday. That's what I
Exactly.
normally say. But I love, but people have made it a bad word, and it's just become this thing where it's just not acceptable anymore because it's become a derogatory term,
Sure.
right? And so when we say it, especially when you're online and you're an influence where you're trying to, I feel like there's certain things that, I just don't say, you know,
Yeah.
like perfect.
Well,
You said, you said,
that's your
no, you said
own
fag,
filter.
right? But like, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I had a post which I was trying to, or the day before, I was trying to post something, and it was a saying that when I looked it up, it said that saying, the person who said it, who they say they said it, it was like a Warren Buffett saying. He didn't actually say it.
Okay.
Okay, but how did I know that he didn't actually say it? I find this post, I go to post it, I make a video of it, I post it on Instagram. Within seconds, the AI has picked it up, flagged it, and blocked it from my reels and from being pushed out. And it's telling me that, oh, Warren Buffett never said it. I'm like, okay, but so then I even changed it to Warren Buffett didn't say it. And then I had this post. It would not let me post it,
Still, yeah.
and I'm like, okay, and then it's okay. I got one up on AI this time though. I went and used AI to reword the same quote, right? And then I posted it and it worked. So
See, but still, like that shit. It's like, who cares? You know? And why are you censoring that? Why are you doing this?
so many people say such fucked up shit all the time. But yeah, I get you, man. I get you. But I want to go back to what we were talking about before we started recording about beards.
Keep going. I'm gonna grab another beer. Keep talking.
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking about beards, and he was saying how he's growing out his beard, and the and I was saying how at the bottom it's like I started using this one blade, but beards themselves, I think there's so many groups that it's kind of like this hipster cool thing to do to have a beard, and then like they have like you know beard groups and guys with beards, and they have YouTube channels, and it's all about the beard. And yes, I agree, it's dope. I love beards. If I could grow out of my beard, I would totally do it.
Sure.
I would totally do it. I think you know society will take anything and make it a trend and make it a thing that is like cool to do.
Oh, for sure, dude.
you know like
But like
mullets.
like I said though,
Mullets are
for
back.
me, what's that?
I said like mullets are back.
Oh yeah, yeah, mullets, yeah. Mullets and skullets. Mullets and
Skullets.
skullets.
Yeah.
For me, my beard thing, like I was telling you, and I'll kind of get this out there, is that it was an anti-vanity thing because I see a lot of people just like focused on their looks and stuff like that. And it's not me. It never has been. I always just wanted to be like, I'm Dave and this is who I am. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah, I
But
get you.
like, and it's like a spiritual thing for me, in regards to being letting it grow out and being like an extension of my spiritual self, and it being an antenna. And I get a lot of Sikhs and Indians complimenting me. There was one
It's a
guy who
great
said,
beard,
"Oh,
man.
thanks, man." I have these older gentlemen with long beards. They say, "Oh, now all you need is a turban." It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
seriously. Seriously. No,
It's
and
cool,
honestly,
man,
like
because like you said earlier, I love everybody, man. I all I want is peace in the world. There's so much conflict over the stupidest fucking shit, you know?
yeah.
And it's a tragedy, man. And I think me growing out this beard for me is like it's kind of a statement. Um, yeah, some of the ladies like it, some of them don't.
Yeah.
Uh, if I see another guy with a beard, it's like a little
Yeah, yeah, a
brotherhood,
nod.
man.
It's the nod, you
Yeah,
know?
we
It's the
always
nod.
nod at each other. We're like, yeah, dude,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's the nod. I
It's
get you.
cool. I love it.
Yeah, no,
But
I
what do
mean,
you?
but I was just gonna add like that you were saying about talking about spirituality, right? It is a spiritual journey because even to grow it out, it takes a lot of patience, right? It takes patience. Now that it's long, it's like it's easier to maintain. I'm sure in the sense that you're not, when you first start, it's like uneven. It
A
looks like
lot of
you're
people can't.
homeless.
A lot of people can't get over the initial itch,
Yeah,
but once you get over it, it doesn't itch anymore.
yeah. No,
When
but
you get over that little hump,
yeah.
you're good. It's like
And
getting a
3 years, right?
tattoo.
3 years
Yeah,
it took
3 years.
me.
Yeah, getting a tattoo. When you get a tattoo, it starts healing, and you get that itch, and it drives you nuts. And I tell people, just fucking it. Don't scratch it. Just slap it,
Slap, bro. I have
and
eight
it
tattoos,
works.
man. I have 8 tattoos, and I love getting tattoos, and I never will stop getting tattoos. But yeah, it hurts, and I mean, like I tell people all the time, put aloe. Like a lot of times, tattoo studios will be like, don't put anything on it, let it just dry, right? Or put like
Mm.
vitamin E or whatever, right? Honestly, I put aloe, and I never have issues with my tattoos like fading or anything, and it helps so much. But yeah, slap it,
Slap it.
slap it,
Yeah. Don't scratch
100%.
it. Slap it.
Yeah,
My tattoo artist had a product called Tattoo Goo,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you put that on. It's got like herbs and stuff in
Yeah,
there, and
I've
you put
tried
that
that
on,
thing.
and
Yeah,
it relieves it. I only got the one big one,
yeah.
but yeah, man, I think there's so much about life that is spiritual. I've dug deep into, like metaphysics, stuff like that over the years. I do believe that this is a training ground for the next life.
Tell me about
Um,
that. Let's talk about that next life thing.
sure, man. I Well, for one, I do believe that the reality that we live in, it's everything's frequency and vibrational. Okay,
Yeah.
the state of matter is a certain frequency that we're living in. This reality that we're living in, this everything we can sense with our senses, right? I knock on the table. What's that? There's a sound, right? It's because it's making a vibration. The table itself has its own vibrationatory state that makes it a table. Our own bodies are the same. The earth that we live in, if you rearrange the words of earth, it spells heart. So the earth is like the heartbeat, and we are on top of the heart, and
We're
we're
made out of
also
molecules, bro.
extensions.
Molecules.
Yeah, and
You know?
it's all vibrational. It's all
Yeah.
frequency. I believe that consciousness, which science hasn't really been able to explain yet, is God.
Yeah.
God, the one true creator of everything, is the source where we go back to when we come out of this body, and we go to it. We go back to
You know,
source.
that's basically Hinduism. So
I
Hinduism,
know.
right, did you know that Hinduism is not it's not a religion.
I
It's
do
a
know
way
that.
of
Yeah.
it's a way of life. It's a way of thinking, right? That's why, like you cannot convert to Hinduism. You can follow it, you can't convert into it. You have to be
Well, that's why
born
you
into
don't
it.
have evangelicals in Hinduism, right? Same with Buddhism, really.
Yes, same with Buddhism.
It's
Exactly.
all it's all states of mind.
Yes.
Um, I've been told through my podcast journey that I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, I am a Buddhist, I am a not Judaism. I haven't got that yet, but I've been told that I've been many things, but I refuse to hang a label on myself.
I get you.
I refuse to give the creator a name, such as Allah or Jesus or
Just the
Buddha or
Almighty,
whatever.
man. Just the Almighty.
The
That's it.
Almighty Creator. That's it,
Hmm.
man.
I get you.
I find that it helps me relate to every other person of particular religions.
Hmm.
I understand it more with that mindset.
Yeah, I get that. I have a similar mindset. I also, when I was younger, I always related spirituality to religion.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I would be forced, like it was always my parents saying you have to go to the temple. We were never religious, but it was like I felt like I was being forced to do it.
Hmm.
Now when I go, I'm not a religious person. I go there to meditate. I go there to find just peace and connect to myself.
Hmm.
I don't go there to pray. I go there, I sit, I meditate. I'm just in a holy spiritual place, right? And it's funny how that changes throughout life as we get more connected to, I guess, like a higher power,
A higher power, a higher self
a higher
who,
frequency, really, a higher frequency.
yeah,
That's really what it is, right?
absolutely. And that's what I feel, that when we pass from this flesh body, we are, we go to a different frequency. Because I've had astral projection experiences at a very young age. 13 years old was my first one. I've had several more since then. Taking LSD helped me realize there was more to this reality than we see.
Man, I've
You
had
know?
so many people tell me that, like there's certain, like, even shrooms and stuff like that,
Yeah,
like it really opens up your mind. Because I mean, like as human beings, we already know, like we're only using like a very small, like 10% of our brain power, right?
that's what they say. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, like Einstein used more of his brain. That's why he was kind of labeled as autistic,
right.
right? But
There's a whole
I,
thing. There's a whole theory that Einstein was a fraud too. By the way, if you want to look into that.
I mean, to me, for me to prove that wrong, what does it do to my life? It just makes me more
Sure,
disappointed
sure.
in somebody, at the
Yeah,
end of the
sure.
day. At the end of the day, he did something that for the betterment of mankind, you know? Even if even frauds do good work.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? So,
The most evil people on the planet have done good works.
I mean, yeah, 100%.
Dude, my experience, like a basic rundown through spirituality from my
Tell me.
perspective throughout my life, was being raised in a non-religious family. We never went to church unless it was for a
Yeah,
funeral or a wedding, whatever, right?
special occasion.
Uh, yeah, so I didn't
Yeah,
really believe in religion at all, right?
yeah.
Let alone spirituality. And then I had this experience where I got off of an anti-anxiety medication, and I it fucked me up. And so I clung on to this idea of God, and I went searching to the Bible, and I became very dogmatic. I took it literally. I went all in, and it became very dogmatic and judgmental. And then I snapped out of that.
Mm,
Uh, it's a long story, but then snapping out of that made me just become spiritual in a sense where, okay, I have to find like a middle ground between all of these religions, because I know that I'm not going to say they're all bullshit. You can find God and spirituality in a book or a religion, but ultimately he's completely separate from all these
of
books
course
and
he is.
religions.
Bro, I'm gonna break it down really easy, okay? This is how I've kind of broken it down, and and this is what I tell people as well. And it goes back to what my grandmother used to tell me. She used to say how every religion is just a sea and a river that leads into the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Same place. There is only one true God. If you think of any religion, right? There is the creator. But just some religions have a lot of middlemen.
And a name and a middleman and
Yes.
multiple gods, this and
Yeah.
that.
But I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. In Hinduism, and this is a lot of people don't know this. Everybody thinks, oh, you have like 2,000 gods. They're not gods, they're deities.
Right.
There's a big difference. But most people, even Indians, don't know that shit. Okay.
Right.
A deity is not a god, it's just a representation of God.
Sure.
Right. So it's like that's why, but with India having a population over 1 billion people, there's so many villages, so many uneducated people. And if you think about religion, let's talk about it for a second. Religion was created to control people
Absolutely.
in times of war
Yep.
or extreme sadness or fear. Okay. So it's at the end of the day, our goal is just to be the best kind of human beings, right? That we can be. So every religion, if you really break it down, the true like essence of the religion is all the same. Everybody says the same thing. Be the best you can be. Don't do to others what you don't want to be done to yourself, right? Be the best version of yourself, be the best dad, be the best husband, be the best wife, be the best whatever. Just live a purposeful life. They're all saying all the same things. It's just that uh
It's dogmatism and becoming so hardened and thinking that your religion is the only one true path is what
I mean,
fucks everything up.
yeah, or the extreme where it's like if you think about Catholics, okay, with the Vatican and the Pope and all these guys where, bro, forgive your sins. You literally you go into the booth, you say your sin, you're forgiven, and now you're free. You're
That's
not.
why
You still fucked up. You still
all the
fucked up.
fucking all the mafia guys would go in and say, "I just moited like 40 guys yesterday. Forgive me of my sins." And then, okay, you're forgiven. Then they go up and murder 30 more, right?
Yeah, I mean you're forgiven. So obviously that's hilarious. But
And the Bible says, now that you have come to the truth and you know the truth, go out and sin no more,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
So
But
become better, be a better person.
yeah,
Don't be a dick.
yeah. No, exactly. I mean, like even like Jesus, yo, I love Jesus. You know, this guy, he was a real dude. Like and when I say real dude, I'm talking about like the fact that Jesus, you know, he loved getting high. You know,
I wouldn't doubt it.
he loved getting high. So he lived free. Like, I mean, yes, he went through a lot. He went through a lot at the end. He went through a lot, but he did it for the people just to, you know, bring good to people. Right.
Yeah.
So to me,
And
believe
his
what you
God
want to
and the
believe.
God that, from the Old Testament was a narcissistic fucking madman.
Exactly. Which is why,
But
like, when people,
Jesus is supposed to be the same guy as that. You know what I mean? It's like, what? There's something
yes,
wrong
because
there.
everybody twists and creates what the narrative that they need to work for them,
Of course.
right?
Dude,
So,
when I was into the Bible, like hardcore, I was Old Testament. I was wearing the talits. I was wearing the fucking hat, everything, man. I got pictures. It's crazy.
well,
Hebrew Roots. It's called the Hebrew Roots movement, and I was part of that. And there's another podcaster that I know who got me started in podcasting. Shout out to Nico, my bro Nico. He was the same. He was in the Hebrew Roots movement, trying to live life to the fucking Old Testament. It's like impossible.
so
There's a guy who wrote a book about he's married, he had kids, and he wrote a book about him trying to live for like I think it was like a year or something by the Old Testament, and is driving his wife fucking nuts. It's
but,
hilarious
but let me ask you a question. When you did that, why were you doing it?
because I wasn't looking at spirituality. I was looking at more of taking the book literally.
Yeah, but to live that type of life, I mean, it's not easy. So,
No, it's not.
why was it more because you were like, you know what, I want to train my mind to be strong and I have the willpower and I'm gonna do this because I really believe in it? Or like what
That
was it? Or was it somebody that's how you've been taught and that's how it
I
was?
I felt in that time period, I felt that if I wasn't doing these things, then I wasn't being loved by God. And I think a lot of people, I think that's what the religious mindset is. If they're not uh, obeying, quote unquote,
Obeying.
the text, then they are not fulfilling God's uh, love for them, right?
Yeah.
So it's really it's a dichotomy, and when you get into that mindset, you become very judgmental about your fellow human beings. They're not doing this, so they're not loved by God,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe
So
look at
it's
yourself and see what you're not doing,
exactly.
you know? Yeah.
It took me a while to snap out of it. I did have a very vivid dream when I was coming out of this mindset. I've said it many times on the show, where I was in an orphanage and there's children sleeping on beds on the left and the right, like a hallway. And I walked up to the middle, and the rapper Chaos, right?
Hmm.
I love Chaos, but I believe that it was an angel in the guise of Chaos, and he was sitting at the end of the hall, and he was sitting there with his legs crossed, and I approached him, and he lifted up the Bible to me, and he said, "Brother, these words in this book can either bind you or free you. The choice is yours."
Yeah.
And ever since then, I snapped out of the dogma, and I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. So I mean, like, so tell me, but like, why do you think that dream came to you at that time? Like, what was it that was going on in your life that kind of like brought that to light? Because
I
everything
just,
happened for a reason at the right time, right?
yeah, yeah. I felt like I was isolating myself from everybody, and because I was so judgmental of everybody.
Yeah.
And my consciousness, which I believe is God, was telling me, this is you're not walking the right path. There's something wrong. And then I had that dream, and it just totally blew my fucking mind when I woke up from it. I'm like, okay, I get it now. I have to walk in spirit and not text.
I get
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have an idea. You know, as you know, I also have a podcast. It's called the Warrior Mindset Podcast, right? Um, things were going great, and then my co-host, her father passed away, so we had to take a break. But and I've been wanting to go back into it. But what I was thinking is that you this podcast that's happening with you and me right now. When you're done editing or posting it,
Mhm.
I will also post it.
Okay.
Right? I will also post it as
We
as
do.
one of the episodes on my
We in the
podcast.
podcast world we call it a swap cast.
A swap cast. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will send you the audio through
Yeah.
Google Drive, and then
Amazing.
or the video if you want to.
If you can send me both, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're on all streaming platforms and we haven't done any video yet, but we've been wanting
Hmm.
to do video. And with my podcast, we tend to pick a topic and then we'll talk about a specific topic versus keeping it kind of like open mic,
Right.
where we can just talk about everything. And I like conversations like this because we tend to talk about jewels sometimes, right? And it's like you think, oh man, I wish I had that like on tape.
Right.
So no, that'd be dope. I would love to post it as well.
Yeah, for sure. One of the reasons why I started doing the podcast was because I started having really deep conversations with people, and it just came to my mind like, fuck, I wish I fucking pulled out my phone and recorded that,
Yeah.
you know? And then my friend Nico I was telling you about, out of the blue, just messages me because I think I posted on like a comment on one of his posts. I said, I've had a lot of paranormal experiences. And he texted me and he said, would you like to come on my show and share your paranormal experiences? I said, absolutely. So when I
Yeah.
did that, I got off of it and I was like, and I listened back to it and I was like, holy shit, I think I can do this because I've been wanting to record conversations for a while.
Yeah.
And then I found
And
out like
it's better than
easy
talking to
ways to do
yourself,
it.
right? It's better than talking to
Yeah,
yourself.
I know there's podcasts out there where it's just people solo, and that's not what I'm all about. I always have at least one or two guests on, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like that's how I got started in the game, and I just haven't stopped. Like
How did you pick
there's
the name? Red Pill Cartel. Tell me about that. I love it, by the way. I love it.
yeah, a lot of people like it. It's Matrix based, you know, the red pill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt like me having conversations with like-minded people was like dealing red pills to people like a cartel, like a drug cartel, right? That's where
Yeah,
it came from.
it's a dope title. I really like it.
I looked
Uh,
it up before I made it my own, and I saw a couple podcasts that used it, but they only had like 2 episodes. So I just claimed it as
okay.
my own.
Yeah. No, it's a great way. I mean, I did the same thing obviously when I picked the warrior mindset. With my whole kind of the beast mindset mentality, I wanted to pick something that kind of you can relate to life in general. It doesn't have to be just that beast mentality. It's really the warrior mindset, survival. If you think about it,
Yeah,
it's about
yeah.
survival. It's unfortunate, but it's about survival of the fittest. It's unfortunate, but that's just what it is, right? And
It
when I say that,
is
I don't mean it like it's like completely like extreme. I'm just
dog
saying
eat
that
dog.
uh, if you're not smart about it, the
Right,
world will eat you up.
right. But you
You
don't
know,
want to be a fucking asshole in the process, right?
you don't want to be an asshole in the process, and that's the whole thing. It's that having that balance. Like I tell my boys all the time. If you think about it as a parent, it's like, what is the goal of a parent? It's to make sure that your kid doesn't grow up to be an asshole, right? I mean, like I tell my boys are so sweet and they're 9 and they're just the best. And but when they act like little assholes, right?
You got
I
to put
tell
them
them,
in their
I'm like,
place.
yeah, I tell them, I'm like, yo, like, and especially as a dad, I mean, like, I try to have very like real, frank conversations with them because they're boys too, you
Yeah.
know, they're boys too, and this world
And
is,
you were a boy once too.
yeah, exactly, and this world has changed so much, and I have also, I mean, we all evolved so much as human beings, you know, how I was when I was in grade six, grade seven, grade eight. I'll tell you perfectly, like I was very much like a yes man. Okay, I was a very yes man. I wanted to, you know, I what
Please
made
other
me
people.
happy was doing stuff for people. It made me
Right.
happy. But I would hate like saying no and then disappointing people also. And then I think I was around 16, 17. I started saying no and I loved it. And that was like the
Yeah.
best, I was like, fuck, it's great, and you evolve into just the person you are now, right?
You
And
start to find a balance where it's proper to say yes and proper to say no,
exactly,
because you can always be one extreme or the other.
bro, self-respect. You gotta have some
That's it.
self-respect for
That's
yourself.
it.
You
Yeah.
can't do not let people take you for granted. And
Yep.
and this if the thing is, that's like a double-edged sword because people take people for granted sometimes subconsciously.
Hmm.
And they do it because the other person is just that giving.
Hmm.
So they rely on them so much. So they take them for
I've
granted. But they don't mean to do it. It's not
I've
they're
had
doing
my
it
share of
maliciously.
experiences with that, man, where I was just constantly saying yes to this one person, and then as the one time I said no, that was it. They cut me off. I'm like, okay, well, you were not for me then, and I was not for you.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I think it also has to do with the fact that as we get older, I've realized that sometimes people are really in your life for that time that they're in your life for the lesson, for the purpose. Maybe your purpose was
Yes,
to teach them, help them through a difficult time. Could be mentally, could be physically, could be financially, could be whatever, right? It could be whatever. Not everyone's going to be that lifelong friend. Like friends, I've got a few really close lifelong friends that we're there for each
same,
other.
same here.
No, we're
Yeah,
there for each other.
you've lost a lot too, right? Yep.
But when you're
Me
in,
too.
I'll tell you something.
And
After
it's
my
fucking
accident,
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when you lose friends, but then you, like you said, you realize that they were there for a purpose, and I have to let them go now.
it's a void, right? It's a void. It's like a death in the family, if you think
Yeah.
about it. Or somebody who's really close. You've been close, let's say, for 15 years, you're best friends. You think you're going to be in each other's lives forever, right? You're like, you feel like, oh, they're like my brother, my sister, my whatever. And then it doesn't happen like that because people just drift and or they have difference of opinions or things happen in life where
Sure.
not
Yep.
everyone, like what I can handle in life may not be what you can handle in life, and vice
Hmm.
versa. That's why everyone's journey is different. I'm strong enough to handle may be way out of your league,
Right.
like way so to the point where you're like, I would die,
Sure.
or vice versa. You know what I mean? So I've when you go through, life, especially with friends and people who are close to you, we live very the surface level life because when you meet people, you're meeting them normally on good terms. You're hanging out, you're barbecue, there's party, there's something happening. We're going out, we're doing positive things. Versus, let's have everybody over and talk about real shit. When does that happen? Never. That only
That's why
happens with
it's
like your
another
your
reason
best
why I
friend.
do it's another reason why I do the podcast, man, because it's therapy, it's cathartic for me because I speak to like-minded people all the time on this platform.
Yeah,
It very rarely does it happen to me in the external, the real life. I mean, this is real life, but we're talking through a fucking phone or a computer, right? Unfortunately, but
yeah. I mean,
yeah, man, it's
we're gonna be doing this in person even, and I think it's more about the platform and what it kind of when you get into it, like, even as a podcast host, I understand what you're talking about as well, right? It's like it really does give you a chance to just have an honest conversation about life in general. And we have things in common. I think it helps. It really is therapy. It really is therapy. Talking
yeah,
about it, when you talk to a therapist, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, I've been seeing a therapist on off for a long time, even when things were really good, even when things were really good, because I had this one therapist. She worked a lot with entrepreneurs and business owners, where when you're doing really well, there's a lot of stress that comes along with that as well.
right,
Right. Or while you're doing really well, the stress might be at home or managing your family or managing other aspects of your life, where sometimes you just need somebody who is like an unbiased person who will just listen or kind of help you just kind of maybe open up your mind a little bit
yeah,
to look at ways a little differently, you know? I don't know.
absolutely, yeah. And
But
some people are so fixed and they're so hardwired into thinking that their way is the only way, even though that shit is not going good. And they think that I don't need a therapist. I can't tell you the amount of time I don't see a therapist, but I do recommend therapists and therapy to certain people that I think really need it.
yeah,
And they're like, they tell me, yeah, you're right, I probably should, but they don't, you know?
yeah, I get you. And but I'll tell you that I think the stigma behind therapy is the
Hmm.
fact that a
Because they
lot of
think that
people
there's
who
something wrong with them and they
no,
don't want
but
to.
the flip side, but bro, I'll tell you the flip side is that they don't fully understand what therapy does. They think a therapist is there to fix.
Right.
This is, this is not a psychiatrist.
What they
Therapy.
do is they help you to fix yourself
They help you to fix yourself by just opening up your mind to different ways of looking at a situation.
or different actions they can take. Because
Exactly.
there's when it comes to fixing yourself, there's a lot of work involved, and a lot of people don't want to do the work to help fix themselves.
Uh,
It's a
but
sad truth, right?
but you know why they don't want to? It's not. You know what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's you have to your self-realization. You have to admit to yourself that you're not perfect,
Right.
right? You have to
Yeah,
admit to yourself that holy shit, there's something wrong with me.
right. And I've done that a long time ago. I told myself a long time ago that I'm not perfect. And that's one of the key factors into growing
Yeah,
is
I agree.
admitting that you're not perfect and you need to do things in order to not be perfect, but be a better version of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it just continues to learn, even in the smallest way possible. Like, people think that they have to make these crazy, huge feats of success every day. Sometimes it's baby steps. Just, you know, like if I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking, you know what, I really don't want to work today. I really don't want to work today. I just want to take the day off and just clear my mind.
Do it.
And then that's what I'll do. Versus a lot of people who will do that, they'll start to do it, but then all they're thinking about is work. And then they're stressed out all day. And so at the end of the day, when they've had a day off, but really they've been stressed about not doing the work, whereas it defeats the point of taking the day off. Right.
Right.
So, um, yeah, I mean, well, bro, I just had a brain fart right now. It just happened.
I was about to actually fart too.
That's great. Amazing.
Dude, this is awesome, man. I love reconnecting with you. It's a fucking blessing, man.
So tell
Uh
me, like after like grade 6, 7, 8, where did you go? Where did you go to high school? Did you go to Bramley?
yeah, I went to Bramley.
So I was at Bramley for grade 9. I was there for grade 9 as well, and then I
Yeah.
moved to
And then you
Mayfield
fucked
after that.
off. Yeah,
I
yeah.
had like my parents moved. They had this house built in like North Brampton near Mayfield and here, Ontario. And
Was that
so
Singdale?
Mayfield was like, what?
Singdale, we call it.
No, no, that's more west from here, more east from here. So this is like
Okay.
at the border of
Okay.
Brampton
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Caledon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like Heart Lake, Snell Grove area.
And for
And
the audience listening, uh, they built a townhouse, or not townhouses, but they built houses north of where I live in Brampton, and they call it Springdale, but we call it white people call it Singdale because a lot of the Indians moved in there.
but it's not only white people, brown people do it too. I've been calling Springdale Singdale for time
Oh,
for like
I know.
years.
Well, because you're one of the cool ones.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's really the racism that really exists. But yo, I'll tell you something. Minorities are the biggest racists. What they got white people shit scared right now. Okay, white people, either you've got like the crazy ass like extremists, but most normal white people are shit scared to say anything right now.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
the good thing is everything is so focused right now on LGBTQ plus
Yeah.
that racism is taking a bit of a back seat right now, you
Right.
know?
Right. Right. I
So
just it's hard, man. Like, what are your thoughts on this mass immigration that's happening, man? It's fucking crazy. And
I
you got
just
like the Wasaga Beach has like the Indian people like building tents and shitting in there and fucking burying their shit. It's a culture shock to the white people, right?
man, I love Wasaga Beach and I don't understand what's happening, but yes, the Trudeau government has really messed this one up big time. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I just shared this article with my family about how the city of Toronto just celebrated illegal immigrant day. We're gonna have an illegal immigrant day, which is gonna be a day dedicated to illegal immigrants. Like we've gone loony, bro.
We're totally upside down, man.
We've gone loony. Like illegal immigrant day, really? And they're like, oh, don't have enough support. I'm like, they're illegal immigrants. They like at least go through the right channels. I get it. I get sometimes, look, I get it. There's refugee status. I get all that stuff. I get, you're trying to leave a war-torn country or whatever. But illegal, that whole concept is so messed up.
We're celebrating illegal immigrants. We give them a day. Well, I guess it's better than giving LGBTQ SI2 plus a whole month.
I know, but they have it already. They
I
have it
know.
already, right? So, but there's so many.
It's like, okay, we get it. You're gay.
Yeah, we get it. You're different. It's okay. It's cool,
you're
you know?
you're showing your penises to kids on the street, and you're not getting in shit for indecent exposure.
I mean, look,
Okay.
that's clearly not a regular thing. Like, look, that's only during the parade and the month time. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
but
not like
still, man,
it's not like
the
they
cops
people
can't do anything about it.
no,
That's
I wouldn't
fucked.
agree with that. I look, bro, I lived downtown for many, many, many years, okay? For like 25 years. And if there's a dude on the street walking around with his dick out, the cop's gonna tell him to put some clothes on.
I don't know, man. I've seen fucking videos of cops saying where they can't do anything about it. Like they
Yeah,
like
because if you make it a something that's against human rights, then yes, 100%. Remember, it's how you word things, right?
yeah, but like you have a parade, okay, because that gives you the right to like promote indecent exposure. You know, especially in front of
I think
children.
I
The
think
the,
yes,
the
but then I
parents
think
should
that
not be
children shouldn't
taking
be at the parade.
right. That's another
So
thing
to
too in
me,
itself.
if as a parent, if I'm gonna take my kid to the pride parade, knowing how it's going to be, I can't turn around and be like, "Yo, this is fucked up. Something wrong with my head." Then
Right.
right? It's not I made the choice to go there. It's they're having the cities have they have created this Pride Month and they're having these Pride parades. It's happening. It's happening.
Hmm.
Reality is that it's happening, right? But then if you in front of children, yeah, I mean, don't take your kid.
Don't take your kid, but you also shouldn't be having a parade where you're fucking hanging your wang out because
Yeah,
that in itself is against the law of indecent exposure.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
they
there's
only
a
have
lot
it,
of
but they
factors.
only have
Mm.
it in their in on a certain street in a certain area, right? And
But they're still breaking the law. It's like, oh, okay. How about we make a parade where people are allowed to pull their guns out and shoot fucking people, right? Like, it's kind
yeah,
of the same
but
thing.
you have to I look, I agree with you as far as the double standard is concerned.
Right.
Okay, I agree with that. But if you think about it, that's in life in general. Look at a cop. A cop's driving on the road and he's got his phone in his hand and he's ticketing the guy in front of him because he's talking on the phone, holding his phone in his hand. And why does the
True.
cop get to do it?
True.
Because he's a fucking cop,
Right.
right? Uh,
It's like where I
so
work. Where I work, it's like I'm not allowed to talk on my cell phone or be texting. And then the manager comes out and is like, or on the phone, blah, 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 blah. And then they ask me if I'm on break. And I'm like, are you on break? Doesn't matter. I'm your manager. Put your
mhm.
phone away. Fuck off.
Yeah, I agree. That double standard, it very much exists, right? So as much as, like we all have these difference of opinion, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very much a realist. I look at life like when I said, we're all trying to escape the matrix, right?
Right.
I literally look at a situation where as subjectively as I can look at it, where I'm like, this is happening. So how do I deal with this situation versus create like an emotional connection where now I'm like part of the same bullshit that goes over and over again. I would rather we were talking about losing friends. I would rather leave a situation or not talk to someone just to bring more positivity and stay in the more positive headspace because you really don't know when you're gonna go, man.
That's
You
true.
really don't
That's
know.
true.
You can
No, that's
literally
true,
go to
man.
sleep. Like I have all these plans for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Forget that long. Next week, tomorrow, I'm Tuesday. I'm seeing my boys. Then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do all these things. Uh, this podcast. I have a great call with York University coming up on Tuesday. Like great things happening. I could go to sleep today and not wake up. Finished, done, like that.
Yeah.
And it
I've
happens
had
all the time.
friends. I've had friends.
It happens all the time, man.
I've
You
had
know?
friends, man. I talked to a coworker today and I told him, I said, I was really good friends with a coworker, and he always used to bring in his Canada Dry bottle. I was working in a warehouse at the time. It was like early 2000s. He always used to bring in his 1 liter Canada Dry bottle of ginger ale, and it was like 3/4 whiskey and a little bit of fucking ginger ale. And after that, I went to college, and then I got a phone call from my friend saying, "Dude, Norm passed away." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." So I heard more about it, and he told me that I talked to his brother-in-law. He said I went to go pick him up for work, and he I was honking my horn. He wouldn't come out. He usually does when I honk the horn. So I went inside, and I saw that he was still sleeping in bed. I'm like, "Norm, get the fuck up!" And he like pulls him like this, and he's like stiff as a board, dead, dead as a doornail. His liver exploded. He had so much going on in his life. He hated his ex-wife. He's trying to get custody of his kid. He's drinking himself to death, and his liver exploded on him. That was the first one of the first real deaths that really hit me because I was in my early 20s, and I worked with him, and I was really good friends with him, and it sucked. And like you said, you never fucking know when you're gonna go, man.
And but and then speaking about that, to your point, the thing is, this guy, your friend, because he was dealing with all the stress, he was drinking a lot, and
A
that
lot
obviously added to his liver exploding.
on the job. Yeah,
So I also feel like, like as we're living, we have to be somewhat, be just mindful. So mindfulness is extremely important. It's another lesson that I teach. It's like being mindful
yeah.
of your life and knowing how precious it is, and the fact that
Hmm.
when you're dead, you're dead. So if you want to get shit done, you need to just, it doesn't matter how small it is, just work on it. Like I try to be the best dad I can be every day, man. It's like, I don't understand how a lot of dads can just not be there for their kids or expect
Sure,
the mother to do everything or
but
whatever. Like I love being a dad.
that's them, right? Like they're not working on themselves. They're not doing the things that need to be done. So they just take the left hand path, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. I was just telling you about earlier about, my purpose is really about my legacy. So even everything I do is very based on like purposeful and legacy based. And why? Because when I'm no more, I don't care if my kids are like, oh, dad made lots of money or dad drove nice cars. I don't care about, oh, he did really well in his business. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I care more about, our dad never gave up and he always helped others. And he, the reason we are how we are, of course, their mom too, but the reason we are how we are is because of his strength and determination and the lessons that he taught us. And
Yeah,
that's the legacy, because then that's their values that they are now going to pass on to the future generations, right?
it's much more important
So,
than monetary value.
because at the end of the day, you were talking about higher powers and like just kind of like where we're going. Death, from the moment we're born, we're on borrowed time. Death for every single person is inevitable.
The
It's going to
great
happen.
Jim, the great Jim Morrison said, "No one here gets out alive."
No one here
You
gets out
know,
alive. Exactly. No matter how
right?
much, you have people who are cryogenically freezing themselves.
Right.
There's no cure yet. They don't know how to bring people back. But they're freezing themselves in hopes that one day when they have that technology, they'll come back. Why the fuck do you want to come back? It could be 50 years from now, everybody you know is dead.
Yeah.
Everybody you know is dead, and you're paying like 100, 200 G's to be cryogenically frozen. It's a scam fucking business. Like,
It's gay.
smart people are doing this kind of shit. Like, are you doing
It's
it for
so
science?
gay, dude.
Are you doing it for science? Okay, if you're doing it for science, great, amazing. But it's a business. This is to
Yeah.
bring people back. Can
And
you imagine? All of a
And
sudden, they come up with this in like 20, not even 20, it's like 2150. Your whole family's gone.
yeah,
You come out, it's a
and
culture shock. You're not going to be able to manage it. Your
and
mindset from,
good luck
sorry?
having the amount of money that it takes to fucking do it, you know? Because all everything that they do is for themselves. It's not for us, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, this world is a funny place, man.
It's wild. I love it.
Yeah, I do. I love it too.
I love watching everything that's going on. I love laughing about it. I love being happy when I'm not monetarily rich, you know?
Yeah,
I have so many people ask me, why are you smiling all the time? I said, because I'm fucking alive, dude. And there's so much to enjoy about this life. I love music. I love film. I love video games. I love people. I love, you know?
bro, I know. Peace and love is always, even for me, like I end every post I make, even my podcast, the last thing we say is peace and love because that's really what it is about. Because if you think about it, look how blessed we are. Bro, are there bombs dropping over our heads right now
I'm not a
where we
starving
don't know if
child
we're
of
going to be waking up?
Ethiopia.
Yeah. Are we,
That's
do we have to
that's
deal
another
without
thing.
water?
Yeah, Kunal. I tell people all the time, people who are down on themselves or whatever, I say, dude, you just need a little bit of perspective, okay?
Perspective.
Look at the starving
Key.
children in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And look what we got. We're living like fucking kings and you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it's
know
a
what I'm
lesson
saying?
yeah, it's a lesson I teach my kids all the time. When my kids are sitting at the table and they're eating and they're fussing about eating, I tell them, I'm like, my parents will give them like five options. Oh, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And I'm like, I didn't get no options when I was growing up. It was like eat it or nothing. It's just you have to eat it.
Eat it or
Right?
fucking go to your room with no fucking TV or video games or
Yeah,
whatever,
no,
you
you're
know?
getting punished
Yeah.
because and you're starving on top of that,
Yeah.
right? And I realized that, kids, um, uh, one thing is when they're hungry, they're gonna eat. But I tell them that if you don't eat your dinner or you don't eat your lunch, don't come at me with snacks. You want snacks. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to eat
Yeah.
your dinner.
You're not getting cheese strings. You're not getting fucking cheese sticks, whatever, you know?
That's just not working. Yeah,
Fruit roll
exactly.
ups. Oh, that reminds me of a good joke.
Okay, tell me.
Before we're gonna end it on here, but I'm gonna yeah, okay, hold on. What do you call a gay guy in a wheelchair?
What?
A fruit roll up.
Bro, that's
See,
oh my God, that's
I
so
love gay people. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like I love good jokes.
it's
I
just
like
a
racist
joke.
jokes.
It's just a
That's
joke. It's like when I said that other joke, what do you call a computer teacher that touches himself? I mean,
oh yeah, yeah,
touches
PDF
kids, right?
file. That
A
was fucking
PDF
hilarious.
file is fucking jokes. Is it offensive? Highly, but I don't care. It's funny,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
not like well, we don't like pedophiles, but we
We don't.
crack jokes about gay people, black people, Chinese people, whatever. Doesn't mean I hate them.
No, it's just a funny joke, man. Like
It
chill.
is.
Life is
Okay.
too life is too crazy to take everything so seriously.
Yes, and give me some closing words here.
Closing words.
What's your
Well,
hope for humanity? That's what I
yeah,
always used to ask early on
yeah.
in the show.
Oh, by the way, before we close, I wanted to tell you something. My name has been said so many different ways. The way you say it is incorrect. So
Kunal?
it's not Kunal, it's Kunal.
Kunal. Okay.
Yeah, it's Kunal. But so many people called me Kunal for so many years when I moved to
That's how I
Canada.
learned it when I met you way
I
back
was
in grade
9.
six.
Yeah, I was like
Fucking,
9, 10
that's
years
how the
old.
teacher said it, so that's how I said it. Look,
Bro, I know.
see?
I know, but that's what had happened. And at that time, I was not, we were talking about like the yes man. I did, I didn't care enough, or I
To
cared
correct
too
them.
much. Maybe I cared too much about what people would say, so I just didn't correct them.
Right.
Right now, I don't put up with that shit. So closing remarks would be, um,
Kunal.
this life we live, like we talked about, is this we're on borrowed time where, you know, love who you want to love, and be the best person you can be, how you want to be. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Just be real. Don't try to live based on what you think other people expect from you. At the end of the day, there's only one person who's truly, truly there for you, and that's you, right? And that's you. For me to be the best dad, I have to be good. For me to be a good friend, I need to also practice what I preach. And just, I think be happier, really look at the small things in life. Everything is not about massive achievements, right? It's about the smaller achievements, because it's the little things that really matter in life, that make us laugh and make us get through our day. And that's kind of what I really focus on. I find that it's really helped me with my mental well-being over life, and going through really tough times, about you know not getting stuck in that mentality of like, fuck, like the victim mentality, where I could easily just give up and
Mhm.
say, you know and just blame somebody else for why something happens. It's about taking accountability, because when you take accountability and you're able to show vulnerability, it truly shows like a higher you've gone to like a higher stage in life, and you're truly learning and growing as a human being, and that's what
Sure.
everybody really wants at the end of the day, right? Just being a better version of ourselves.
And a lot of people even blame God for how they're positioned in life.
It's funny because you don't blame God when good things happen,
Right.
right? Only when bad things happen, right? When good things happen, you did it yourself. I mean, sure, thank God, thank you for it, but you're like, I worked so hard. But when bad things happen, it's why, God, why would you do this?
Right.
Or why is this happening? But that's the evolution of life. That's just the way
And
it is.
and what I've learned too, Kunal, is that after the bad things happen and you're in the shit storm, once that shit storm passes, I've been able to thank God for the bad shit because it got me to where I am now. Right.
Lessons, man, lessons. You have to look at the bad. You have to take the good and the bad in life. You can't only take the good, and the bad becomes like this stigma. No, you learn from the bad. I am very thankful for some of the bad things I've gone through, for sure.
Me too. Me too, man. Please tell
Yeah.
my audience where they can find you.
Check me out on Instagram at Sensei Kunal, which is SenseikuNal. I'd love to connect with you guys, and the Warrior Mindset podcast on all streaming platforms. We're gonna start this up again. I'm gonna use this as my first podcast back on air. So I'm looking forward to doing more
Awesome.
podcasts with you and some chats, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna have just reach out and just be positive, and just the love the people that love you, and even the people that we were talking about don't love you, don't have any hate for them. Just wish them the best, you
Dude,
know.
love the haters more than your lovers, man.
Ugh, bro, I don't
It's
think we
not an
can end the
easy thing to
podcast
do.
right now, Brent. I have something to say about that. Haters gonna hate, okay? Haters gonna hate. Here's a great ending. Haters gonna hate. This is something I tell people. Haters are actually your biggest fans. They're the ones who are watching you the most, more than the people that are supporting you.
They absolutely are.
So, yo, thank them. Thank you. I thank my haters all the time. I'm like, thank you for all the engagement. I love your opinion about things, and I
Yeah,
don't care that it's different than mine. It's cool,
I
you
love it.
know?
I love all of it, man.
Yeah, brother.
Kunal, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
I will, we will definitely keep in touch.
Yeah,
And yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I love it.
absolutely, brother. Love you, man. Let's talk
Love you
again.
too.
All
Love
right,
and
brother.
peace,
Peace and love,
brother.
man. Yes, my friend.
Take it easy.
Take care, man.
Oh,